Hi, you guys. It is Thursday evening, June 11th, 2020. My name is Doris, and this is the Knit and Pearl Podcast, episode 201. It's going to be a shorty. You can find the show notes for this podcast on knitandpearl-doris.blogspot.com. In social media, I am One Fine Cow, all spelled out, on Ravelry and Twitter. I am One Fine Design, the number one, on Facebook and Etsy, and I am Doris M. Smith, all lowercase and smooshed together, on Instagram. This podcast has a Ravelry group, which is the Knit and Pearl Podcast group. You don't have to remember any of that stuff that I just told you, because in the handy dandy down bar below are links to the show notes, to the Ravelry group, to my Etsy store. If you click on the show notes, at the top of the show notes below the video is clickable links to my social media, so you can go over there and click. There's also a link in the show notes to the Ravelry group as well. Excuse me. Every podcast I do a Ravelry group birthday shout out, and the birthdays this period are between June 1st and June 15th. There are 3 birthdays, 2 of which are today. Lisa 911 and Liz Stitches both celebrate a birthday on 6/11. So happy birthday, ladies. And the Yarn and Us, who is Cappy, her birthday is on the 14th. So happy birthday, you all. I hope you have a wonderful birthday, that you get good fibery gifts, that you get to be with friends and family, albeit social distancing with masks, whatever. That you have your version of a birthday cake. Happy birthday. If it was your birthday during that period and you don't share that on Ravelry, I want to wish you happy birthday as well. That brings us to the finishing of the Crochet in May Along. There were 2 participants, and I have already messaged them, and they each received a pattern of their choice. I just thought it would kind of be ridiculous to just pick between number 1 and 2. So I just gave them both a pattern of their choice. So that brings us to Story of the Week and Stash Enhancement. I'm sorry, hang on just a second. Nothing yet. Okay. I have a little bit of ice yarn stash. I told you last time I had some coming. And I was watching The Secret Yarnery on YouTube. She's a crocheter, and she has a secret yarnery. You should see it. It's amazing. However, she does a lot of ice yarn, and she was doing a secret yarnery tour, and she showed some cakes, and I'm like, you know what? I want to try the ice yarn cakes. So these are called Cakes Baby Fine. I didn't keep the bag, which had the color number, because sorry, I don't have the color number, but look at that color. You can look up baby cakes, Cake Baby Fine, and you could pick the color you want. It has a light pink in the middle, and goes to white, to yellow, to orange, to like a bright pink and a light pink. I thought it was pretty. And it was cheap. $13, which includes shipping for 3 cakes. I can read you a little bit about it. This says it's a 2. I think it's more like a light 3. It's more like a DK. It's 100% premium acrylic, 100 grams, and it is 360 meters, which is pushing 400 yards. One moment. Hey Siri, what is 360 meters in yards?
360 meters is 393.7 yards.
It's pushing 400 yards. So I got a goodly amount. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I just wanted it. And it's going to, marinate in my stash until it lets me know what it wants to be. I'm going to put it back over here. Okay. The last 2 weeks has been more time home than work. So I finished a few whips and I started and finished a few projects. So everything's the same. But I did hear that the governor of Missouri is going to lift all the restrictions on June 16th. I don't know what that means for St. Charles County or St. Louis County. I just know that Missouri, they're lifting all the restrictions of the COVID-19. There is hope in the future. Just be glad when, the other stuff gets better so that, but we're all good. We're all good. It's a little stressful, a little depressing, but we're all good. We are blessed. So let's get into the finished object, shall we? I'm going to show the first ones are going to be the ones that have worked on or you saw before. The first finished object was the Corey, which is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry by Tina, and I don't know how to say her last name. The yarn I used, the cream color, is Red Heart Super Saver Bulky Jumbo, Red Heart Jumbo Super Saver in the Aran colorway. And the multicolor, with all the pooling and loveliness that I just love, is Ice Yarn. This is the Ice Yarn Pistachio. What is it called? Picasso. I don't have the colors, but isn't that gorgeous? I used the wait a minute, I'm sorry. I used a G, and the pattern includes instructions for a cowl, a blanket, or a wrap. I made the wrap. I did 12 repeats this way, and I did 4 pattern repeats this way up. I also did I modified it because I chose to use the double border on the sides to cover up the fringe, because I didn't do very well with the fringe, and I had some pieces that were real short, some pieces that were long, and it wouldn't have looked good if I tried to use the fringe, so I did the double border. It's a fun pattern. However, if I do this again, if I make this again, I will not do this border because it makes it kind of bulky. But it's mine and I love it. I also chose to use the pattern color to fasten it together because I thought it was pretty. So Let me put it on and show you how it fits. It will be a nice something to throw on in a cold restaurant when we get back out. Here it is. I love it. I love the color. I love the fit of it. It just fits very nicely around the shoulders and the upper arms. You could wear a nice sundress and throw this over it. It's not too heavy. But like I said, this double border does add a little bulk. I guess you could probably do it with a lighter yarn. I don't know. But I love it. I love this pattern. I love the colors all together. It was fun to do. If you've never done mosaic crochet, you should go give it a try. Step up your crochet game. It is really not hard. If you look at the back, it's single crochets and double crochets. You always work. I'm left-handed, so I work from left to right. If you're right-handed, you're always going to work from right to left. And there it is. First finished object, the Cory. You can see it's the plan is to have, the design is like a plaid. If you look real close at it looks like a Scottish plaid. The next finished object is the make it up as I go along shawl that I started. I just used a basic triangle beginning and I knit for a while, then I started doing garter ridges to break it up. So I did one garter ridge, 2 garter ridges, 3 garter ridges, and then I said, oh phooey, the rest of it's garter. I also changed yarns. They both have the similar colors. This one is a slub one, and this is a regular, and there's more slub right here. And then, yeah, it's nice. I love the fit of it. When I finished it, I did soak it for like 15 minutes in some wash, and then I didn't like block it out as in pin it out and stretch it. I just, laid it out, kind of like smoothed it out a little bit, evened it out, did a little bit of stretching, but I didn't pin it out because I wasn't happy with the size pre-blocking. Oh, as you can see, I left that in. That's where I was the last time you saw it, and I finished it. I ended up using 4 1/8 balls of the 8 balls that I have. So maybe it was a little bit more. I used 2 balls of the slub and 2 and about a fourth maybe of the 3rd ball of the smooth color, the smooth yarn. It's a nice big comfy, let's see if I got it right, fits really good over the arms, down the butt. It's a nice cozy, it's wool acrylic blend. It doesn't feel too scratchy. It's nice, and I'm feeling a little chilly. I'm gonna try to leave it on if it doesn't fall off on me. Give it a little tie. Oops. Sorry, I hit a button. I told you that Scraptastic yarn that I spun would probably be a hat when you saw it again. So it's a hat. I use this. This is orangey. This is from a clone forest breed from Knit Spin Farms. I bought some roving from her, and I spun it, and I Kool-Aid dyed it with some orange and red Kool-Aid. And this is the third thing that this same skein of yarn has been in. It's kind of like the never-ending ball, and I still have more of it. And then the rest is the 96 yards of the extras that I had saved up from leftover bobbins, and I love it so much. I made it really big because the person that I was knitting it for, if she wants it, has a big head and she has a lot of hair, and in the winter time it takes a long time for her hair to dry, and so she usually washes it, puts it up in a messy bun, and she likes to have a hat to put over going outside with wet hair or damp hair, because if she could wash her hair and in the night it would, in the morning it'd still be wet. The next night it would still be wet. I just showed you how big it is. It will fit her and her hair if she chooses to have this. Otherwise it'll just be a slouchy for me or whoever else. But I love it. Hand spun. Can I tell you what this hat is? This is the bulky waffle hat, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Linda Suda. The yarn is hand spun, and I used a US 10 6mm, and I think I used a 16-inch clover, and then I couldn't find my US 10 needle double point, so I went to an Addy 40-inch and magic loop the end. There it is. I have one more finished object that if you follow me on Instagram, you kind of maybe have a hint of what it is. I cast on the Saturday after the last podcast, and by Sunday evening, I had a sock. So Melissa's been like really wanting a pair of socks, and she was here a couple weeks ago and she's like, I really want a sock, Doris. I need some new socks. I wear the socks all the time. And she likes little Shorty socks. So I got a hankering Saturday and I cast them on. And I probably knit the heel turn, the heel flap turn and gusset Saturday, and then finish the foot on Sunday. And I kind of like slowed down a little bit after that because Melissa would have probably wanted these as soon as they were done. And when I did finish the second one, by the way, I showed it to her and she was like, oh yes. I said, you can't have them until after I podcast. So here's the second one. I don't know why I didn't. So the sock I knit is the Rose City Roller, which is a free pattern on Ravelry by Mara Catherine Briner. The yarn is the Patents Croix in Fiesta Jacquard colorway. That is purple. That is not a bluish purple. That is not true color there. Not true color at all. Can't help it. It's not blue. It's purple. Yeah, that purple's not showing up correctly. That looks more like the color. It's a dark purple. Yeah, that looks more representation of what the color is. It's not purple. It's a dark blue. Yeah, that's the color right there. Anyway, I started and knitted a pair of socks. I'm going to say in a week. That's pretty cool. They are just related. They're not twins. They're not identical twins. There they are. Very proud of them, and she will love them. She loves the hand knit socks, and she is knit worthy. So that is all of my finished objects, works in progress. I have been working on 2 other things, but not very steadily. Let me get my whips up here. The Elena wrap, which is a free pattern, and it's on the Premier Yarn website. The Elena. The yarn I'm using is the Bloom, a depleted cake, in the peony colorway. Bloom. The number is 109002. Peony. I forgot. I did not mark where I was the last time. Sorry about that. Oops. And I switched needles because I was not enjoying using the Pharrell for this. So I'm just using a boy G, which is a 4.25 hook, and I'm enjoying it a lot better. Getting hot. So here it is. There's the beginning. Here's where I am. I'm hoping that it's big enough with just this one skein. You guys know I like big things. It's supposed to be a wrap. I think it'll be a good round the shoulder wrap, but I'm afraid I'm probably going to have to break into the second ball of this. That's it. It's so pretty. Okay. The Elena. If you go to the show notes, there is a link to that pattern, which will make it probably a little bit easier for you to find. It is free on the Premier Yarn website. The last work in progress is the Super Simple Summer Sweater. The 4 S's. Which is a paid-for pattern on Ravelry by Hoki Locatelli. The yarn I'm using is Himalaya Everyday Viking, which is 100% anti-pilling acrylic. The color is a number, which is 70517. You can take a screenshot of that. It's pretty. I like it. The needle I'm using is a a 4 millimeter US 6 Addy Turbo 40-inch circular in my bag by Jane Wine WYNN Designs, which is linked in the show notes below. It's a big, nice sweater bag that was reasonably priced, And comes with a little bag, which I've never used. I don't know why. So here's the sweater. There's where I was the last time you saw it. And here's how much I've gotten done. Still knitting down the body. I'm into the pink again. Yeah. I am choosing to do color control to keep the stripes instead of just ending one ball and starting another one. I'm guilt knitting this whenever I sit down and knit a couple rows, then I was like, oh, I'm done, move on to something else. I enjoyed knitting the socks and I enjoyed knitting the hat. I enjoyed finishing the other two things because I don't know if you guys are like me, but when I get to the point where I know I can just power through this and get it done, that's what I do. So that's it. I did not touch the log cabin shawl. I have to make a decision what I'm going to do with that. My Captive Heart Afghan, haven't touched. It's a crochet project that I enjoy doing it. It's just that other things are capturing my attention right now. So anyway, it's longer than I thought it would be, but anyway. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for participating in the crochet along. Thank you for just following along. Thank you for everything. Please leave a comment below. Leave a chatter in the Ravelry group. I do this for the community, so I want to interact with my followers, people who watch the podcast. So please communicate with me and I'll try to get back with you. Thank you very much. And I will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of the Knit and Purl podcast. Bye, you guys.